Hello, it's Mark Leonard with your video thought for the day. All right, this week I'm looking at the eyes. All right, I'm looking through the eyes, but I'm looking at the eyes. I'm looking at biblical passages that talk about our eyes. And yesterday I got a lot of comments because I was holding our brand new grandson Caleb and looking at him. I couldn't stop looking at him. And I talked about how Psalm 122 says we ought to always be looking to God, and that needs to be the focus of our eyes. That was the positive eyes of yesterday. Today I want to look at the flip side of that in a way, and there's a passage that's a great passage in the book of Job. Now, a lot of people don't read the book of Job. My buddy Tim, I think, has memorized it. But most people don't read the book of Job. They may live the book of Job, but they don't typically read it. Job's this Old Testament book about a fellow who just came into absolute misery. His economic wealth left him. His family left him. His kids died. He was left with nothing except a couple of friends and his wife. And his friends would just sit around telling him, it's all your fault. Go ahead and curse God and die. And he spent the whole time saying, but this isn't my fault. I don't get it. And in the midst of this book that probes these very perplexing issues of how we should handle it when bad things happen and stuff like that, comes chapter 31, verse 1. And in that chapter, Job's trying to explain, I really haven't done anything wrong. And he makes this comment with a very unusual phrase. He says, I have made a covenant with my eyes. Made a covenant. Berit is the Hebrew word for covenant, and it truly means like, I cut this deal. I've made an agreement with my eyes. And he goes on to say, why should I be looking at attractive young women? And it gives you an idea of the covenant he made with his eyes. He said, I'm going to avoid looking at things of temptation. It's a lot like Isaiah the prophet said in Isaiah 33:15. He talks about people who are walking righteously. And he says they shut their eyes against contemplating evil. You see, the things we look at, they feed our mind. Did you know that you have in your mind, scientists believe, 10 million visual data points of input per second? Most of that's all in your unconscious mind, but you are taking data points in your peripheral vision, data points all over the place that are imprinting into your mind. And the idea is that our minds are fed on an unconscious level through what we see. And so Job says, I'm going to make a covenant with my eyes. Isaiah says, I'm not going to let my eyes contemplate evil. I'm going to just shut them before they do that. Jesus says, if your eye causes you to sin, gouge it out. He's speaking in a metaphor. He doesn't literally mean he wants you to take your eye out. But he wants you to know how significant it is. Because as Jesus said in Matthew 6:22, the eyes, the lamp of the body. If the eye is, the Greek word's haplous, it means if the eye is sincere, if the eye is plain or healthy, if the eye is healthy, then your body's full of light. But if it's not, it's full of darkness. What you see imprints on your brain, and it translates into your character and how you act. And so our job in this life is not only to look to God, but to avoid looking at the things of this world that would pollute our mind. Paul talks about how important it is to renew your minds, to rewire your brains. Your brain, one neuroscientist that I know said your brain is like a scoop of ice cream, and it forms thought patterns like little channels that if you poured fudge sauce, the sauce doesn't sheet all of the ice cream, runs down those channels. What you see is helping to form these channels that will affect the way you think. So my video thought for the day, my encouragement today, is memorize that little snippet. I have made a covenant with my eyes. And when temptation, when opportunity, when evil comes into your field of vision, shut your eyes to it. Make a covenant with your eyes that you're not going to spend your time doing that. You say, well, that's like, don't think about an elephant. Oh, no, 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 no. Instead, cast your eyes upon the Lord. Think of good things. Look to God. Let the good of this world rewire your brain, and it will transform who you are. That's my goal for today, and it's your video thought for the day. More on the eyes tomorrow. God bless you.